Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Friday the 12th of February 2021. We've got a match against Reading tomorrow, so we're going to preview that in today's video, and here we go. This is a little thing that I popped up on Twitter. It's from an account called Millwall Analysis, and what he's done a very thorough scouting report on Reading FC. So I thought it's quite interesting. We're going to have a little run through it. So this is from Millwall Analysis. It's not from me. It's you can find him on Twitter at Mill Analytic 1. Search for that, or millanalytics.substack.com. And here we go. We're going to run through it. So this is overview. 5th in current league table. This is Reading. 6th in form table, with 2 wins, 2 draws, and a defeat. That was against Brentford. 41 goals scored, with an expected goals 35, so they've done better than expected there. 32 goals conceded, with expected goals against of 26, so they've done worse there. Potential injuries for tomorrow's game: Swift and Mate. Let's open this up, zoom it in. This is the recent lineups, and it's pretty much the same throughout all the games. The only thing that's changed, I think, is one of the attacking midfielders and the right back, so not many changes there. So that's the recent lineups. Squad profile, here we go. I'm not going to read all of this, we'll just have a look at it. So basically he's gone through all of the expected players in the first 11, I think. Pause that and have a read of that if you want to have a read of that. And here we go into the nitty gritty. He's got a few pictures up from the game against Stoke. So here we go. Lauren into LCB position. Ejaria receives in left half space. Again, Lauren drifts into LCB position to a progression, and here Rinamoto receives from Raphael and looks to find Lauren, this time in the left channel. And I think Reading are one of these teams that they love playing out from the goalkeeper, so plenty of chances to press them and intercept the ball there. So here we go. This is in possession. It says build up phase. Reading have several ways of building up their play, whether it be against a high pressing team or against a team who sits in the mid block. On the left diagram, Rinamoto has picked up the ball from the goalkeeper as the opposition hasn't pressed high. They like to build a lot of their attacks down the left, 40% in fact. In this instance, Lauren is in the half space, but if he is cut off, then pass wide to Richards is available. In the diagram to the right, Reading have been pressed high by the opposition. Lauren pulls out to the wide centre back role when they can't build centrally. This then allows Ejaria to start high and come deep and receive in the half space, which he does very well. There is a more regular pattern when building from the back. Other options that Reading regularly use are a direct ball to Zhao, who is then good airily and holds it up well also. They have also recently tried a floated pass to the right back to then flick on. We will have to be prepared for either to happen and win the second balls. So there, I think we can deal with that. I think we can. Shouldn't be scared about that. Creating and finishing phases. What does this say? So it says, during the create phase, Reading have very fluid movements within their 4-2-3-1 system. The wingers often drift inside and into the half spaces. A problem that Reading calls many teams is when Ejaria, Lose, and Zhao are situated in between the lines. The fullbacks are responsible for keeping the width. However, if the wingers decide to stay high and wide, the fullbacks indent to provide a different passing angle. Swift almost has a roaming role in a 10 position. It regularly drops deep to receive the ball and initiate what I call the John Swift trigger. More on this later. Zhao makes many movements. He drops deep for combinations play with his indented wing as a number 10, or makes runs in behind the opposition defence. Remota It normally advances quite high up the pitch and links well up with Olossi. The former often makes third man runs in beyond the opposition for Elise to either slip him or drive into the space left by Riamoto. In every attack Reading have, one of the central midfielders reach the box. During the create phase, Reading like to use short combinations and are able to do so due to the narrowness of their play. These can be very effective and take the opposition's midfielders out of the game. They can also play quite direct at times and look for balls over the top of the defence into Zhao's feet or chest. The John Swift move contributes to this. Swift often drops deep to receive, and this acts as a trigger for the forwards to make runs in behind, which utilises his great passing range. In the finishing phase, Reading have good structure, creating a good rest defence too. The front four plus the CM tends to get in a box, whilst the fullbacks stay deeper and generally invert to prevent transitions. This also allows their wingers to get 1 versus 1 against opposition fullback, where they look to beat him and then cross the ball. 26 of their goals have come from open play, 4th highest in the league. Wow, that's impressive. We've got some pictures here. It's not all words. It says the 2-3-5 can somewhat be seen, with the fullback staying deeper and indenting like Richards. The John Swift trigger, Swift drops deep and receives. This initiates runs in behind the defence. So as soon as he gets the ball, and that's the cue for them to start running forward. And the short combination play, wingers tucked in narrow, aids these combinations. So, okay. Moving and pass maps. It's like spider's webs this. Favouring the left flank, especially the half space around the halfway line where Ajario likes to pick up the ball. That was against Brentford. The one in the middle was against Stoke and the one on the right is against Bournemouth. So not much penetration here. Lots of lateral passes between the centre backs. Stoke's mid block worked well and didn't allow them to progress as easier. So you can see, if you can see on the middle one, there's a lot more spiderweb in Reading's half on the left hand side. They didn't really. He's saying they couldn't get it forward because they couldn't move forwards with the ball, so they had to do sideways passing. In the one on the right, you can see they favoured the left flank again. One of their build-up patterns, a floated ball to the right back to flick on. So, okay. So the one on the right, less passing, more long balls. So they can really play a number of different ways, really. According to Mill Analytics on Twitter, if you want to check them out. Defense attack transition. So after winning, is that a video? Oh, no. After winning the ball, Reading are generally quite composed, especially when in their own half. They show great composure to find a teammate who can then either progress the ball or set back to the guy who won it. This is shown in the bottom picture with a neat triangle in their own half after winning the ball back. However, they also look to get their front men in behind quickly. In the top picture, Rinamito has regained the ball and immediately looks to play it over the top to forward runs from Ajario and Zhao. Their type of transition depends on which area of the pitch they won the ball back. Okay, sorry about that. So if they win the ball, okay, yep. I don't know what that says. Maybe I'm being dumb. Out of possession. Let's see what this is. Reading look to press high and stop their opponent from playing out. Well, that's not going to be a problem for us, is it? Hoofball, Millwall. They press with pace and aggression, sticking to a fairly strict man marking system. Zhao deals with the two centre backs and will press the goalkeeper if they play it back to him. Jario and Elise keep the fullbacks in their cover shadows whilst closing down their near side centre back. Against the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-3-3, Reading set up as shown on the diagram to the left. Fullbacks step up and mark the opponents. Wingers and Reading centre midfielders man marking the opposition midfielder. Against the back three, which Millwall play, Reading still look to press high and make very little changes to their press. One of the only differences is that the wingers often push higher, close down the outside CBs if this happens. The fullbacks push up onto the opposition's wingbacks. The man marking system in the middle is still used, but Rimanotto stays deeper to help screen his centre backs. Okay, so there's that. This one. Here the press against the 4-3-3 is shown. The man marking system can be seen. The press against the three at the back, man marking setup can be seen again. High press from Reading. That's in the bottom one. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Both of these diagrams show that Reading fall back into when their opponent progresses further up the pitch. They have two variants, a 4-2-3-1 block or a deeper 4-4-1-1 block, depending on the situation. When in the lower block, the Reading tend to use a space-orientated man coverage system where they mark press the opponent when he comes into their zone. As seen in the bottom picture, quite a big gap between the two centre backs, Remoto and Lauren. This happens due to their man marking system. This could be exploited. Yes, it can. Probably won't be, but it could be. Big weakness. Oh, here we go. What is it? What is it? Big weakness. Was splitting the fullback and the centre back. Okay, that's a pretty common weakness in most teams, especially ours with Romeo. This happens time and time again, and teams look to exploit often. Due to their man marking system, their fullbacks get pulled out wide to close down their opponent. Reading centre midfielders are also quite poor at covering the defensive half spaces, so there is potential for third man runs if we can manage to pin their fullbacks wide. Stoke took advantage of this weakness well despite not scoring. This should be exploited by Jed Wallace, Ben Thompson's third man runs. Or maybe even Mason Bennett. Mason Bennett might play. Probably seems the type of game where he might do well, but yeah, we do this as well. Teams do this against us with Marlon Romeo and Mario Wallace as well. That's quite a common way of attacking, is to split the fullback off from the centre defender, leaving a gap which then gets run into. We do that all the time. Attack defense transition. Due to being quite narrow in their attack and being quite high up the pitch, Reading are able to counter press quite well. After losing the ball, the player nearest to the ball tends to chase straight back after it, while his surrounding teammates tend to close in on the opponent, covering passing lanes at the same time. However, they aren't effective all the time and are sometimes slow to react, close in as a team. Due to being narrow, there are spaces out wide to counter in. Our strikers should look to exploit the space on their channels after we win the ball back. Attacking corners. Swift and Elise are the set piece takers. Good deliveries. Reading often look for first contact from deep to be headed back across goal. One player moves to the far post while 2 out of 3 run near post. For this routine, delivery is often floated. Must be alert from set pieces. When Elise takes them, they like to crowd the 6-yard box and the ball gets put on the keeper. Delivery is whipped with a fair amount of pace. 11 set piece goals, second highest in the league. Watch out, Bart Biakowski from Reading set pieces, corners. Defending corners. Reading set up a zonally from corners. Every man comes back to help. Set up in a 2-5-3 structure. 2-man zonal marking inside 6-yard box. 4-man zonal marking on edge of 6-yard box. These are their best headers of the ball. 2-man zonal further out, whilst 1, normally Elise, floats around the edge of the area, ready to transition. The near post area is somewhere we could exploit, with a runner from deep gaining momentum ahead of the zonal marker. And this is the last one. It says key points. Stay compact, keeping distances between the lines short, stop them from receiving between the lines, force them wide. They're dangerous players, like to operate centrally. Don't dive in. Their technical players are strong 1v1 and like to take their man on. Be alert on set pieces defensively. Exploit their lack of defensive half space coverage. Counter quickly. And well, that's it. There you go. So that's from Millwall Analytics on Twitter if you want to check that out, or Millwall Analytics Substack.com if you want to check that out in the future, or some of his past work. But there you go. He thinks Reading FC are quite good, apparently, according to that. But what do other people think? This is David Prutton. David Prutton on Sky's Bet Championship website, skysports.com. And he gives predictions every week. And he has predicted Reading Millwall versus Millwall 1-1. That's what he predicts. Maybe that would be a good result. I'll be happy with that. But whoscored.com, the website that the statistics website who gets in the EFL team of the week, and Scott Malone got in his this week's team, of course, that won the goal. An excellent performance that he put in against Sheffield Wednesday. But what does whoscored.com say? So they say match facts: there have been over 2.5 goals scored in Reading's last 6 games. That's basically three goals or more, so over 2-1, 3-0, that kind of thing. Reading are undefeated in 11 of their last 12 home matches against Millwall in all competitions. So we don't go to Reading and win. It's not a thing we do. We haven't done it in the last 11 times we've been there. Millwall are undefeated in their last 5 matches in the Championship. Okay, so that sounds like it could be a draw. But if you look down at the prediction, it says Reading took a shock early lead against leaders Brentford on Wednesday night, but the Royals fell apart late on as they walked away empty-handed. Veljo Pernovic's side have lost just one of their last 8 league games and should bounce back this weekend. Millwall ended a run of 3 consecutive league draws in style last weekend when they hammered Sheffield Wednesday 4-1 with their best performance of the season. The Lions have won 2 and drawn 3 of their last 5 league games, and they predict Reading 2, Millwall 0. Okay, and you can see on the right hand side there, they're basically a Millwall team that has a goal scorer. Their goal scorer, Zhao, has got 16 goals. The next one, Mito's got 6, Elise's got 4. And the best 3 players, 2 of ours are defenders, Hutch and Cooper. There's an attacker and a midfielder. So there you go. Anyway, we'll see tomorrow. We'll see who's right. Is it David Prutton? Is it whoscored.com? Who knows? We'll see. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.